With the rain keeping watch and your body fully at rest, there is no longer any need to move in a particular direction. Not forward, not inward, not anywhere at all. The idea of destination fades quietly now. There is nowhere you are meant to arrive. Nothing waiting at the end of this experience. This moment does not lead to another moment. It simply exists open and complete. You may sense a gentle floating quality now. Not lifting away from yourself and not sinking deeper. Just drifting, as though you are being carried by something calm and reliable. There is no current to follow. No path beneath you. Nothing to steer toward. If you imagine water, it is perfectly still. Not frozen. Just resting. You are supported on its surface without effort. It does not tilt or shift. It does not require balance. This drifting does not feel uncertain. Feels permissive. Like being allowed to stop trying to orient yourself. The night does not ask where you are going. It does not need you to have a reason for resting here. Awareness becomes softer now. Not focused on any single sensation. Not scanning or checking. It spreads gently, then thins like mist that no longer needs to hold its shape. Your breathing continues without reference to anything else. Each breath arrives because it does. Each breath leaves when it is ready. There is no pause that needs attention. No rhythm to maintain. The warmth that holds you remains steady. It does not change as awareness drifts. It remains as a constant background, reassuring and quiet. Thoughts are rare now. If one appears, it feels incomplete, like a fragment that never becomes whole. It dissolves almost as soon as it is noticed. There is no interest in finishing it. No curiosity about where it came from. The sense of self feels lighter now. Not absent. Just less defined. There is no boundary you need to protect. No edge you need to remain inside. The rain continues its steady presence somewhere beyond this drifting awareness. It no longer feels separate from you. It feels like part of the same quiet movement that carries everything gently forward without direction. Time already loosened feels almost irrelevant now. Moments do not connect. They do not form sequences. They simply exist, then soften, then blend. You may notice that even the idea of resting feels unnecessary. Rest is happening on its own. There is nothing to assist. Your body remains still and supported. It does not require attention or adjustment. If sleep approaches now, it does so quietly without signaling. There is no sense of crossing into it. No shift you need to recognize. And if sleep does not arrive yet, that is also fine. Drifting itself is enough. There is no correct depth to reach. No preferred state. The night allows you to remain exactly where you are, for as long as you remain there. Awareness feels thin now, like a veil rather than a structure. Sounds pass through easily. Words pass through easily. Nothing catches. The rain does not change its rhythm. It continues without reference to your state. It will continue whether you are awake or asleep. This consistency makes drifting feel safe. There is nothing you could miss. The sense of direction dissolves further. There is no up or down. No near or far. Only presence, gentle and unanchored. You are being carried now, not by movement but by the absence of resistance. Nothing is pushing you. Nothing is pulling you. You simply remain, floating within the calm that has been building all night. If dreams begin to form, they do so softly. They do not announce themselves. They emerge naturally from this drifting state. And if there are no dreams yet, that is fine too. The space is open to whatever unfolds. The night does not need you to participate. Continues peacefully on its own. You are free to drift without direction, without intention, without awareness of time, knowing that nothing is required and nothing is expected. As your body rests so completely now, something else quietly takes over. Not your thoughts. Not your attention. Something beyond you begins to keep watch. The rain continues outside, steady and dependable. It does not change its rhythm. It does not grow louder or fade away. It remains as though it has chosen this role deliberately. The rain is awake, so you do not have to be. It listens to the night on your behalf. It meets the darkness without fear. It moves across rooftops, windows, and ground, touching everything gently, checking that all is well. You are not alone in the quiet. You are accompanied by this constant presence, calm and unblinking, asking nothing from you in return. The night feels different now. Not empty. Not vast. but attentive in a soft, distant way. It is as though the world has agreed to remain alert so that you may rest fully. The rain marks time. The darkness holds space. You no longer need to listen for changes. You no longer need to notice sounds. If something shifts outside, it is already being met and absorbed by the night itself. Your body senses this immediately. Another layer of alertness releases. A final quiet readiness dissolves. There is nothing left to monitor. The rain becomes a gentle boundary between you and everything else. Inside that boundary, you are completely safe. Nothing crosses it without softening first. If a sound occurs somewhere in the distance, it arrives already muffled, already unimportant, already handled. Your breathing remains slow and even. It no longer responds to the outside world. It follows its own calm rhythm, uninterrupted. Your body feels fully permitted to sleep now. Not invited. Permitted. There is a difference. Invitation suggests choice. Permission suggests safety. And safety is present everywhere you sense. The rain keeps moving, steady and patient. It does not tire. It does not ask to be relieved. It has done this many times before. You may imagine the rain tracing familiar paths. Down rooflines. Along quiet streets. Across darkened fields. Everywhere it goes, it carries the same message. All is well. All is accounted for. Nothing requires your attention. The structure you sensed earlier remains quietly in place. Not watching you. Watching outward. It does not focus on any one thing. It simply stands steady and unchanged, allowing the rain to move freely around it. Together, the rain and the night create a feeling of enclosure. Not a closed space. A protected one. Your awareness feels wrapped now. Not tightly. Gently. Like being covered by something familiar and trusted. Knowing it will not be pulled away. You may notice that the idea of being alone feels very distant. There is presence everywhere. Just not the kind that demands interaction. The night does not need you to respond. It does not need reassurance. It does not need to be acknowledged. It simply remains. Your body rests deeper because of this. Muscles remain soft and loose. Breath continues without interruption. Even your dreams, if they begin to form, feel protected. They drift in slowly, unchallenged, allowed to unfold without being examined. There is no need to stay near the surface of awareness. Nothing will slip past unnoticed. The rain has taken responsibility for listening. If sleep deepens now, it does so safely. There is no risk in letting go completely. And if you remain lightly aware, floating between rest and sleep, you are still protected. Nothing changes. The rain does not distinguish between waking and sleeping. Continues either way. The night holds its shape. The darkness remains calm. You may sense that this watchfulness will continue for some time. Not measured in hours. Not marked by clocks. It will last exactly as long as it needs to. Your only task, if it can even be called that, is to rest. And even that is not required. It happens naturally when nothing else is asked of you. You are guarded now by something steady and patient. Something that does not need your attention to remain effective. The rain keeps watch. The night stays open and calm. And you are free to sleep as deeply as you wish, knowing that nothing will disturb this quiet protection. There is a feeling now that something can be set aside. Not because it has been solved and not because it no longer matters. Simply because it does not need to be carried any longer tonight. You may notice this before you think about it. A subtle easing. A sense that your inner hands are no longer clenched. Imagine being in a quiet room where a simple surface is waiting. A shelf, a table, a place meant for resting things. It does not judge what is placed there. It does not ask questions. If anything has been following you through the day, you may allow it to appear now. Not to examine it and not to relive it. Only to recognize that it has weight and that weight can be set down. You do not need to name what it is. It may not have a clear shape. It might be a feeling, a responsibility, a memory, or a sense of unfinished business. Whatever form it takes, you can imagine placing it gently onto this waiting surface. Not dropping it. Not pushing it away. Simply placing it where it can rest. The moment you do this, even in imagination, your body responds. There is a quiet release, like a breath you did not realize you were holding. Nothing disappears. Nothing is lost. Everything remains exactly where you leave it, safe and unchanged. This is not avoidance. It is permission. You are allowed to rest without carrying everything with you. If there is more than one thing, there is no need to rush. You can take your time. Each item can be set down in its own moment, with the same gentle care. As each one rests, your shoulders soften further. The space behind your eyes feels less crowded. Your breathing feels smoother, more open. There is no urgency in this process. The room does not fill up. The surface does not become crowded. It seems to expand naturally, making room without effort. You may notice that some things feel heavier than others. That is all right. Heaviness does not mean difficulty. It simply means it has been held for a long time. You are not required to understand why it weighs what it does. You are only invited to notice how it feels when you no longer carry it. There is a kindness in this setting down. Not a dramatic kindness and not a performance. A quiet kindness, offered inwardly without witnesses. The rain continues its steady rhythm outside, unchanged and reliable. It does not interfere. It does not hurry you. Your body feels more spacious now. Not empty but unburdened. As though something has been removed that was never meant to be held through the night. You may notice a gentle warmth returning to places that had tightened earlier. The neck, the jaw, the center of the chest. These areas respond as if relieved to no longer carry responsibility. Thoughts feel less insistent now. If one appears, it no longer demands attention. It feels distant, as though it belongs to another time of day. You do not need to push thoughts away. They simply find less to attach to. The idea of tomorrow may arise briefly. Feels far away. Not because it is unimportant, but because it is not required right now. Everything that needs attention later will still be there. Nothing is being neglected. Nothing is being forgotten. It is simply resting just as you are. You may imagine closing a drawer gently, not to hide what is inside, but to keep it safe until it is needed again. The motion is slow. There is no sound. When the drawer is closed, there is a sense of completion. Not finality. Just pause. Your body settles deeper into support. The surface beneath you feels steady and patient. It has no expectation of movement. Your breathing remains smooth and unforced. Each breath feels like confirmation that you have done enough for today. There is a subtle feeling of trust growing now. Trust that it is safe to rest. Trust that nothing will unravel while you are still. This trust allows another layer of holding to release. Not dramatically, quietly. If emotions pass through now, they do so gently. They do not cling. They do not demand expression. They are allowed to move through, just as the rain moves through the night. You may notice that the space inside you feels clearer. Not sharp or alert. Just calm and open. There is no sense of effort left. Nothing to manage. Nothing to remember. The act of setting things down is complete for now. Not forever. Just for this night. Everything that matters has been placed where it can rest. You remain here, lighter and more at ease, held by warmth and quiet, accompanied by rain that continues to fall without asking anything of you. Now that so much has been set down, your body begins to take its turn. Not because it is instructed to, and not because it has been waiting impatiently. Simply because the conditions are right. Your body knows how to rest. It learned long before effort and expectation became familiar. Rest is not something it needs to be taught again. It only needs the space to return to what it already understands. You may notice how your body feels from the inside. Not in detail and not with focus. Just a general sense of presence, like noticing the shape of a room without counting its corners. The surface beneath you remains steady and supportive. It does not shift. It does not ask for adjustment. It meets you exactly where you are. Your body responds by allowing more of its weight to settle. Not dropping suddenly. Not sinking dramatically. Just resting more completely, as though it trusts what is holding it. Your legs feel heavier now. Not tired and not strained. Simply at rest. The long work of standing, moving, balancing, and carrying is finished for the night. Your arms follow naturally. Hands relax without instruction. Fingers curl or open in whatever way feels easiest. There is no need for symmetry. Your shoulders continue to soften. They no longer hold themselves up. They are allowed to be supported instead. The neck releases gently. Not all at once. In small, quiet adjustments that happen without being noticed until they are complete. Your head feels comfortably balanced now. Not held in place. Simply resting. as though it has finally found the position it was always seeking. Breathing continues smooth and unforced. It no longer feels like something happening in your chest alone. It moves through the body as a whole, slow and even. Each inhale feels like a gentle arrival. Each exhale feels like a quiet settling. There is no pause between them that needs attention. Breath moves the way a tide moves in calm water. There is no counting of waves. No need to measure how far they reach. Your chest feels open but not expanded. Your abdomen remains soft and receptive. Nothing is being held in. The warmth that has been present all along now feels fully integrated. It is no longer a sensation to notice. It is simply the background of comfort in which everything else rests. You may notice how still your body has become. Not rigid, not frozen, just still in the way something becomes still when it no longer needs to move. Small movements may still occur. A shift of breath, a slight change in position. These happen naturally and without meaning. Your awareness of the room grows faint now. Walls, distance, and space remain, but they no longer matter. They do not require orientation. What remains most noticeable is the sense of being inside your body, calm and unthreatened. Your face relaxes further. The muscles around your eyes let go of effort. Your forehead smooths. Your mouth rests naturally. Even your tongue feels settled, no longer pressing or adjusting. There is a sense that your body has reached a deeper level of trust. Trust that it is safe enough to let go completely. Trust that nothing will be required of it for a while. This trust allows rest to deepen without direction. There is no point where you need to encourage it further. If sleep begins to arrive now, it does so quietly. It does not announce itself. There is no moment that needs to be noticed or marked. And if you remain lightly aware, resting inside this calm physical state, that is also perfectly fine. Your body continues to rest either way. The rain outside continues its steady rhythm, unchanged and patient. It feels distant now, like something happening in another layer of the night. Your breathing remains smooth and continuous. Each breath feels complete on its own. There is no sense of effort left anywhere in your body. No place that feels tense or alert. If any sensation remains, it is neutral and quiet. Your body feels whole. Not energized. Not depleted. Simply complete for this moment. The idea of movement feels unnecessary. The idea of thought feels optional. You are resting inside yourself now. Fully supported. Fully allowed. Nothing more is expected from you. Nothing more is required. The body has settled into rest naturally, the way it always does when the night is calm and the world no longer asks for attention. At this point, it may feel as though listening itself has begun to change. The words still arrive, but they do not land in the same way they did before. They no longer ask to be understood. They simply pass through like sound moving across a quiet surface. You may notice that meaning feels less important now. Not because it is missing, but because it is no longer needed. The feeling behind the words is enough. Awareness rests lightly here. Not fully awake. Not fully asleep. Balanced gently between the two, without needing to decide where it belongs. Your body remains deeply at rest. There is no impulse to move. No signal asking for adjustment. Support is complete and unquestioned. Breathing continues smooth and steady. You are no longer aware of the beginning or end of each breath. They blend together, forming a soft, continuous motion, like waves overlapping in calm water. The rain outside continues its steady rhythm. It no longer feels separate from you. It feels woven into the background of everything. A texture rather than a sound. If other sounds exist, they are distant and indistinct. They arrive softened, already released of importance. Nothing sharp reaches you here. Thoughts appear rarely now. When they do, they are incomplete. They do not form stories. They do not demand resolution. They drift through like faint shapes seen through fog, present for a moment, then gone. There is no effort in letting them go. They do not need to be dismissed. They simply do not stay. You may notice that even the sense of self feels quieter. Not absent. Just less defined. There is no need to know where you end and the space around you begins. That boundary feels soft and flexible now. The night holds everything gently. It does not distinguish between listening and dreaming. It allows both to exist at once. Words begin to lose their edges. Sentences blur slightly as they pass. Meaning dissolves into tone, and tone dissolves into silence. This is not confusion. It is rest. Your awareness no longer tracks time. Moments do not feel connected to one another. They appear then fade without sequence or direction. There is no sense of waiting, no sense of moving forward, only a gentle hovering in this quiet middle space. The warmth that has been present all along remains unchanged. It does not respond to your state. It does not increase or fade. It simply stays steady and reassuring. This constancy makes drifting feel safe. Nothing will be lost if you go deeper. If sleep begins to pull you gently now, it does so without force. There is no moment you need to notice. No signal to follow. Sleep does not arrive like an event. It arrives like a continuation. And if sleep does not arrive yet, that is also fine. This in-between space is restful on its own. Listening feels optional now. You do not need to hold on to these words. They are free to come and go without consequence. Your body remains still and supported. Muscles are soft. The face is relaxed. The eyes rest easily behind closed lids. Even the idea of effort feels distant. Nothing is being managed. Nothing is being directed. The rain keeps falling somewhere beyond this awareness. It does not change. It does not signal anything new. Its consistency allows your mind to loosen further, knowing that nothing will shift suddenly. You may feel as though you are floating just beneath the surface of sleep, close enough to feel its pull, far enough that awareness has not completely disappeared. There is no need to choose whether to remain here or drift deeper. Both are welcome. The night does not require you to participate actively. It carries on gently, holding this space open. If images appear now, they are soft and fleeting. They do not form scenes. They do not ask to be remembered. They come and go like reflections on dark water. You may sense that the boundary between inner and outer has thinned. Sounds, sensations, and thoughts blend together without hierarchy. Everything feels equal and equally unimportant. This equality brings peace. Nothing stands out. Nothing pulls attention. Your awareness continues to thin, like mist dispersing into the early light. Though here there is no morning yet. There is only this gentle fading, this quiet softening. You are safe here. You are supported here. You are not required to stay alert. Whether you remain lightly aware or slip fully into sleep, nothing changes in the way you are held. The rain continues. The night remains calm. The space around you stays open and protective. You are free to drift without noticing when listening becomes dreaming, and dreaming becomes rest. There is nothing more that needs to happen now. Not because everything is finished, but because nothing else is required. The night has settled into its own quiet rhythm. It does not build toward anything. It does not prepare for what comes next. It simply remains. You are held within this remaining. The rain continues somewhere beyond your awareness. It may be faint now, or it may blend completely into the background. Either way, it keeps moving gently without pause and without urgency. The night does not check whether you are awake. It does not notice whether you are asleep. It offers the same calm presence regardless. Your body rests fully now. Not waiting. Not listening. Simply resting, the way something rests when it knows it will not be disturbed. Breathing continues quietly. You are no longer aware of its movement. It happens on its own, steady and unremarkable, like the rise and fall of distant water. There is no sense of direction anymore. No forward. No inward. No place to arrive. Awareness feels thin now, like a soft veil rather than a solid shape. Sounds pass through it without resistance. Words, if they arrive at all, do not remain long enough to form meaning. The space around you feels complete. Not full. Not empty. Just complete as it is. Nothing enters this space with force. Nothing leaves with urgency. Everything that happens does so gently without asking for attention. The night remains calm and unchanged. It does not move closer. It does not drift away. It simply stays. If dreams begin to form, they do so quietly. They do not announce themselves. They do not ask to be remembered. They unfold naturally, like mist moving across still water, then dissolving without trace. And if no dreams come yet, that is also fine. Rest does not depend on them. There is no signal here that marks an ending. No closing moment. No final forte. The night does not end the way stories end. It does not fade out or resolve. It simply continues, holding space gently, You may sense that the idea of listening has disappeared completely now. Not because you stopped, but because there is nothing left to listen for. Awareness and rest have blended into the same quiet state. The world outside continues in its own way. Rain falls where it falls. Darkness holds where it holds. Nothing requires your participation. You are not needed for the night to continue being calm. You are not required to stay alert to keep anything safe. Everything is already being held. If sleep deepens now, it does so fully and naturally. There is no risk in letting go. Nothing will slip past unnoticed. And if awareness remains, floating quietly within this stillness, that is welcome too. The night makes room for both. There is no expectation that you notice this moment. No reason to remember it. It does not need to be marked. The rain remains steady. The night remains open. The space around you remains quiet and protective. You are free to rest without knowing how long this lasts, without knowing what comes next. The night does not hurry toward morning. Morning will arrive when it does without needing you to wait for it. For now there is only this calm remaining. Nothing is ending. Nothing is beginning. The night remains.